Going for two live. It's your boy here, Dan, at the B League Says, coming at you with another B League Pick'em show. It's a show about B League's Pick'em prop show for Underdog Fantasy. As always, promo code GF2 over at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code GF2 for 100% matching deposit up to $1,000 on your initial outlay. Though we've been doing this show with this promo for quite some time, so be surprised if you haven't cashed in yet. If you have, congratulations. If you haven't, and this is your first time listening in, $1,000 credit on your initial outlay up to $1,000. It's pretty damn good if you put that much down. You put $100 in, you get $100 credit, and so it goes. So pretty good way to go about it. It's not a bad thing. As always, before I get going into my props for week 9 of the NFL season, our Going for Two live Discord. It's a fantastic place to be. I think it's great. I don't pop up in there as much as you think I do. I don't say much, but I watch everything. I read everything. It's a great place to even just be quiet and learn. Trade advice, drafting advice, fab advice, waiver advice, anything you can think of, chop league advice. Who should I pick up with these bye weeks coming? You can ask anything, get through over there. Betting advice, we're all over there asking about. It's a great place to be. It's a great place to go. So Going for Two live Discord is free and fantastic to do. As always, good morning, my friend. I hope you are well and the weather where you are is delightful. It's November. I don't know what it is over there. I have no idea. But either way, we are going to head over into our props for this week, and we're going to kick it off. It's going to feel a little weird because I know that we are known for Dynasty. If you know your Dynasty stuff, you'd know from our Discord. It's a great place to be, as always. You're going to see I'm going to pick on some rookies here, and I really don't like doing that, but I feel like there is some good props to be had. Well, actually, to be fair, well, I'm kind of picking on them a little bit, but that's not the point. We're gonna start off. It's like a compliment sandwich, except there's no bottom sandwich. We're going to start off with a good one. We're going to start off with Colston Loveland. I feel like he has been given a bit of a bad rap to start the year, slowly working. Look, it was such a loaded team the Bears have on paper, and Ben Johnson and the reputation he had coming over. So I feel like he was never going to get off to the start that I think people had. And I don't know if it's a dynasty thing. I'm not really the dynasty guy. I kind of claim that anyway. I play, but I get to listen to people that play Dynasty, and we have some great people there, like Jamie, who just popped up in the chat. But I feel like, that team was always going to start off a little bit slow with their distribution. And you talk about bye week rookie bumps. It wasn't Luther Burden. It was Colston Loveland, who, since he's come back, I guess he's had a bit of circumstance about him work in his favour, obviously, with some injuries here or there. But I like him this week. And there's certain props that I hate getting on, but I feel like this one might be there for the taking. We've got Cincinnati. He's at Cincinnati this week. I like him for a touchdown this week. I really do. Hasn't had one yet this year, I don't think. But we're going to look at him at over half a touchdown. It's at 1.7x. So we're getting a bit of juice on the end of that. Look, talk about a team who doesn't know how to stop tight ends for their life. The Bengals, they're letting 10 touchdowns to the tight end position this year, nearly double the amount of the next team up, which goes nicely with, the targets and yards allowed to tight ends as well. They're right up there. They really, Cincinnati don't like to defend at the best of times, but the tight ends, they like that to go with it as well. So that's there. So put bluntly, the Bengals, they don't do anything to tight ends. They just let them go. It's one of those things. It's like Halloween night, door knocking. They just give all the candy to all the tight ends. They love it. Speaking of working, as I said, Loveland in 3 weeks since the bye, he's seen his snap share almost double since then. So he's gone from like 40, 60, 80% given that time. Along with his targets, they're increasing each week as well. So that's good to see for him as well. But look, the high side to that has been the other side of that is also Cole Kmet's numbers in that time. They've dropped a little bit too. So that's kind of working in his favor. And as I said, everyone's been getting on Luther Burden as the next guy up. I kind of think at this point with this matchup, it's going to be Colston Loveland. I think he's got a shot here to get a touchdown. Against the team, again, letting 10 touchdowns in that time, it's a big whack there. Pick number 2, and I said I was going to get on rookies here. Bill Crosby-Merritt. Corey Crosby-Merritt or Bill? I don't know whether to call him Bill Crosby-Merritt or Jacoby Crosby-Merritt or Bill. I feel like it can only be one or the other. I don't think I can call him Bill Crosby-Merritt. I think it has to be Jacoby Crosby-Merritt or Bill. It's one of the two. I don't think you can combine them. So I'm going to call him Bill for the sake of keeping the conversation down. We're going to do that. We're going to go lower than 43.5 rush yards versus Seattle. Look, very, very nervous about this one. And I'm very nervous about this one because, look, a lot of Bill's form has, A, been on the road where he's got under 47 rush yards in 3 of his last 4. And B, in his lone home game, he struck for 61. So at home, he's kind of done all right. And, and B, look, a bunch of the Washington offense has been kind of erratic at best, and it's not their fault. Injuries are injuries, right? Like you're talking about Jaden Daniels is playing, and then he gets hurt, then it's Marcus Mariota for a week or two, and then Jaden Daniels comes back, gets hurt, and then it's Marcus Mariota. And it's like it's a very erratic team. And you're talking about Terry McLaurin's in, no, he's not. like, what are we doing here? So, Debo's in, no, he's not. Like, it's one of those weird sort of things. You know where I'm going with. So it's one of those things where their offense hasn't looked settled since the start of the year. So to say that he can't do something consistently, I feel is a little harsh because nothing about Washington has been consistent since the start of the year. Look, the problem for me here, for Merritt or Bill, is Seattle's run D. They have been lights out this year. They have been unbelievable. It's one of those weird things because I feel like Seattle's run D for a long time has been not great. Like they've been one of those teams you'll always see someone punch out 100 on. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But it's one of those things, they've given up the fewest rushing yards allowed. They're at 57 yards per game on average. So they're allowing the fewest rushing yards per game. And, you work in some Jaden Daniels, he's going to get some of his. Maybe Jerry McNichols gets some run as well. I think it might be more of the same for them where they're going to rotate these guys in and about. Seattle's going to stop them down or slow them down, and that's where it is. You don't have to tell Jaden Daniels twice to go through the air, right? So I feel like this might be another game where he gets overlooked a little bit. But, hey, look, those receiving props on him aren't too bad. I think he might be a shot at that instead. Pick number 3, and I told you that bottom part of the compliment sandwich that we don't have, it's Cam Ward. And, again, it's another prop that really, on paper, it looks like a good one for him, and I'll explain why. I'm going to go lower than 203 passing yards versus the Chargers. Tough one because, again, on the periphery, Cam Ward has been on a bit of a heater lately. I know that sounds weird because the Titans are god-awful to watch, and nothing about what he has done looks conventional. It's hard to watch at times. I spent 5 years watching Daniel Jones be skittish. I know what a bad quarterback play can look like. I don't know what he's doing in Indianapolis. I'm happy for him, but it's one of those things where, like, I'm watching Cam Ward and everything looks like he's going to get destroyed. But it is what it is. While it looks scrappy, the box score tells you that 4-4. He's 4 from 4 in his last 4 games. Going over 220 at least. He's had a couple, one in the 290s, one in the 270s, 250, 227. He's done well to be anywhere clear of 203. He has been ridiculous. So the problem for him is not what he can do, it's the Chargers. Currently, the Chargers, they've given up the 7th fewest passing yards this year. But what's crazier than that, and I know their win-loss record on the road isn't that great. I think they're 1 from 2 or 2 from whatever it is. They've only allowed 165 passing yards on average on the road. They're not allowing it on the road. They're not being thrown. Like, it's not happening. Like, the teams aren't throwing on them while they are on the road. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but it's not happening. So I'm taking the form of the Chargers going like 203. Okay, he needs something really streaky to happen to go his way. Maybe there's a little bit of Tajay Spears in the backfield. I understand how he might be able to get some yards. Dyke has been getting some long plays. I understand, but this is also a team that doesn't allow that to happen. And against a group what's the nice way of saying bad? This bad, I think they might have a bad day against the Chargers this week. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's in trouble with that. Pick number 4, and again, I'm looking at this guy as someone who's about to walk back into his team and just take over because from what we've seen, it hasn't been great. I really don't know what to make of the Texans. They are one of those teams that will just, I don't know. They are a weird team to watch and break down. But I'm going to go to Nico Collins coming back after a few weeks out, higher than 7.5 targets versus Denver. Now, let's start with Denver first. I think this is an easy one to start with. The big loss here for them is obviously Pat Surtain is out. That's the number one thing. The lockdown corner took hits last week. First it was his ankle, then it was his shoulder after that. Like, he took some hits last week. He's not getting up for this one. He's already been ruled out, which is a shame because Surtain versus Collins would have been pretty fun to watch play out, I think so. PJ Locke is out also. So the secondary is in a bit of flux right now. And, you take a big player like that out of the equation, everything can free and open up. Broncos, without these two, have given up the 5th most targets to wide receiver, around 21 per game. So already the 5th most targets to the position, that's a good thing to look at. Nico Collins, again, he's back from injury. The Texans they should use him because a team without him, they were just a bunch of average somethings. They had, and again, Giants fan over here. I know what it's like to watch a bad receiving core. I spent, again, 5 years watching, the last 5 years was like Kenny Golladay, Darius Slayton, someone else was in there. I forget who it was. Who was that? He had like 2 or 3 games. He was from Buffalo. Isaiah Hodgins. Like, they had a bunch of guys in there that were just there doing their job, which was great, but they're just kind of in there. I know Jalen Noel okay for Christian Kirk. Hutchinson and Higgins barely scratch the surface of what Collins is. So Collins needs to kickstart their season. I think they need to get back into their ways. And this game is kind of there for the taking with a guy like Surtain out. I know it sounds crazy, but that's too big of a loss to overlook. And someone like Nico Collins, he can walk back into that team. I feel like we're getting a little bit of that injury discount right there at 7.5 targets. I think he might light them up a little bit this week. Pick number 5. I've actually teased this up to 1.5 from over a half. Byron Young higher than 1.5 sacks versus the Saints at 2.38x. Now, I know this is a long shot. So, again, he's barely breaking even at over half a sack. So they're telling you he's going to get a sack, right? Like, they think Vegas and underdog, they're sitting there going, he's going to get home. But over one, how often does that happen for outside of Myles Garrett, TJ Watt? How often does that happen? Well, let me tell you, I don't know what to expect from Tyler Shough. I don't. We've seen him a little bit. I have no idea. I know he's got it thrown into the game for half a game. I know he can be mobile enough. I know that Spencer Rattler was great at avoiding sacks. He's really good at evading them. I don't know if Shough has the same panache as he does. But what I do know is 1.5 sacks for Young, who has been, again, we're talking about being on a heater like Cam Ward. He's been on a pretty good streak at this point. 6 sacks in 5 games, 2 multiple sack games in back-to-back games. And he's got a team at home coming off one of their worst games of the year with a rookie quarterback who's a backup, I guess. They weren't that sold on him. The 1.5 sacks, I guess, it's being very, very adventurous. But half a sack at 8.85x has no bite behind it. And considering he's a good chance to hit 2 as much as he is 1 at this point. So I kind of feel like you could do worse and you're going to get onto him at a 2.38x. That's kind of wild to me. I'm going to quickly touch on the Arizona at Dallas game for Monday night as well, because I feel like there's a lot going on here because obviously Kyler Murray's been injured for a few weeks and they've looked okay with Jacoby Brissett. I think Murray's going to play. And Dallas is Dallas. I mean, I don't know. Dallas are as good as putting up 30 on the road as they are losing at home. They're kind of crazy to watch at this point. But look, this to me is a game that's built on a fast-paced aerial game between 2 quarterbacks who don't mind throwing it. Say what you want about Kyler Murray. He'll throw the ball a bit. Like, he's not very good at it. Again, Arizona allowed the 12th most passes to wide receivers. Dallas has allowed the 2nd most yards to position. Also 15 touchdowns to receivers as well. So this game is built for Harrison, Michael Wilson, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb. It's built for these guys. Jalen Tolbert as well. He's in there too, right? So built for those guys. Dak Prescott is running around the 2nd most pass attempts this year, now 37 a game. So he's going to push the pace. That's going to bring Kyler Murray, I guess, Brissett, whoever's going to be playing at 34.5 up. Murray in his last 3 games has averaged 35. So I kind of like that in a game on the road for him where he's probably going to chase. Leads me to believe Kyler Murray in his return is going to look at Marvin Harrison, his connection. It was there with Brissett, so he's going to have to go to him, right? Like they've said, okay, well, we know what he can do with Jacoby Brissett. We probably should go to him a little bit more. So he's going to have to win his star receiver over. So we've got a nice little parlay here, plus 340. Kyler Murray over 34.5 pass attempts. Marvin Harrison over half a touchdown. And George Pickens' longest reception at 23.5. I kind of like that this week as well as a nice same-game parlay. If that's something you're into, something I'm into, I'm going to get a little bit on that as well. So George Pickens, even with CeeDee Lamb back, is an absolute menace, isn't he? What a great fit he has been for the Dallas Cowboys this year. They re-signed him. As a Giants guy, it sucks, but, for fantasy and gaming, it's a wonderful pairing. Either way, we're going to wrap this up one more time because I am Dan at the B League Says, and this is a quick prop show for you. I hope you all had a happy Halloween. As always, Underdog Fantasy, promo code GF2 for a 100% matching deposit up to $1,000 on your initial outlay and bonus credits. 100% a great way to go. And as always, the Going for Two Live Discord, it is free. It is fantastic, especially this time of year with those bye weeks. You can get all the trade advice, draft advice, waiver advice fab bidding advice that you could get, Chop League advice for who to drop and all that sort of stuff coming up. As always, your betting advice is in there. I am Dan at the B League Sailors. You can tag me for any questions you might have. Let's wrap this up one more time. Pick number 1, Colston Loveland at Cincinnati, higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown at 1.7x. You get a bit of juice on the end of that one. Pick number 2, Bill, or Jacoby Crosby Merritt, lower than 43.5 rush yards versus Seattle. We're going to look at pick number 3, Cam Ward, lower than, lower than 203 passing yards versus the Chargers. We're also looking at pick number 4, Nico Collins, higher than 7.5 targets versus the Denver Broncos. We like that one a lot. Pick number 5, Byron Young. We like him for half a sack. I kind of like him for over 1.5 as well. Versus New Orleans Saints, and we get a 2.38x on that as well. And a same game parlay for Monday Night Football, Arizona at Dallas. Kyler Murray over 34.5 passing attempts, Marvin Harrison over half a touchdown, and George Pickens' longest reception at 23.5 yards. I like it a lot. Let's see how it goes. It can only go one of two ways, right? And that's the beautiful thing about gambling. Safe bets, happy punch, cheers, and goodbye.